All right, hi there. In this video, I'm going to talk about my goals for the next year, the upcoming year, 2024. I will talk about various areas of my life. I will talk about my financial goals for the next year. I will talk about my goals in the realm of investing. I will talk about my approach to social media in the coming year. And then finally, I'll briefly talk about my mentorship program and what I want to accomplish in this part of my life. So let's start by talking about my financial goals for the next year. And in a way, I guess I will also be reflecting on the past year in this video. So what I can say here is that I'm pretty happy with where I'm at financially right now. I've started my wealth building journey around 7 years ago now, and I think my younger self would be pretty proud of where I'm at right now. And I guess if I would tell my younger self where I'm at financially at the moment, my younger self would be pretty impressed. So I hope I can keep that momentum going into the next year. And so what are my goals for the next year in terms of my finances? Here's what I would say. First of all, I plan to save at least 30% of my disposable income. This is something that I've quite easily been able to accomplish in the past, and I plan to do the same in 2024. I will say that I have some bigger expenses coming up in the next year. I will get married, and obviously a marriage is not cheap, at least if you want to throw a party and stuff like that, maybe go on a honeymoon. But I have to say that I plan for those expenses, and I basically saved the majority of the money I need for all of these things already. So it shouldn't really be a big headwind in the next year. Then another goal I have regarding my personal finances is to start tracking my expenses again. This is something that I have done in the past. I've used a specific budgeting method that personally I don't think is overly time consuming. And I think the strength of actually tracking your expenses and using a budgeting method is that it keeps you accountable. So what I've noticed is that once I hit a certain financial milestone, I actually stopped tracking my expenses. I was taking it a little easier and my savings rate dropped a little bit. And I just want to start tracking my expenses again. I think it will hold me accountable to really aim for bigger savings rate goals. And I will keep you up to date how that is going in the coming year. And maybe to wrap it up here in terms of personal finances, I think we all make the wealth building journey way too complicated. Actually, it's pretty easy. You just have to get started. You have to earn money. You have to spend less than you make. And then you just have to get that snowball rolling. And as I said previously, I can really see that my snowball is starting to roll quicker and become bigger at the moment. And I can only encourage you to do the same in the coming year, wherever you are at on your very personal wealth building journey. All right, let's move on and talk about my investing goals. So what I will say is that the last year, 2022, has been a pretty difficult year for me in terms of my investing performance. I have to say that it didn't really bother me. It's not like I lost trust in my stock picking and investing abilities, or that I was affected by it emotionally in any way. But nonetheless, 2023 has been a much, much better year. And I have to say it feels good after a more rough year in 2022. Now, what I will say is that if I compare the value of my portfolio today to the value of my portfolio, I think it must have been around November 2022 when the stock of Matter also bottomed. If I compare the net worth from around a year ago to today, it almost doubled. So this tells you something about the investing performance that I have enjoyed this year. And obviously it has been quite a pleasurable ride. What I will show you on screen is actually the performance of some of the stocks in my portfolio. What you can see here is actually the year-to-date performance. So those numbers are taken straight from Koifin. And obviously those numbers might not necessarily represent or reflect the performance that I have enjoyed in my portfolio account, because maybe I have added to that position over the month. Maybe I have trimmed the position at certain points. Maybe I've actually purchased a new stock sometime over the course of the year. Like for example, PayPal is included in this list, and PayPal is a stock that I bought in 2023. And obviously I bought it at a price that is lower than the price PayPal was trading at the start of the year. So my performance in 2023, without giving you exact numbers here, was pretty satisfying. So what are my goals for the next year? Well, it's actually quite simple. I know that the performance of individual stocks, asset classes, and so on and so forth over relatively short time periods, like the next 12 months, cannot be predicted. So I don't have a performance goal for next year. That is something that is out of control. And I think if you are targeting specific performance goals over a 12-month period, that's basically a recipe to feel miserable. Of course, the underlying businesses that you own, they might actually develop quite favorably, but the stock prices might not reflect that. And so just because the stock market takes a little longer to realize the good development of businesses doesn't mean that you were making mistakes. So always bear that in mind. Then in terms of investing, what I also wanted to talk about is the setup of my portfolio. I've actually considered doing a video on my portfolio, so I'm not entirely sure whether I want to do that. If you are a regular viewer, you will know that I'm quite cautious when it comes to talking about individual names in my portfolio and certain buy and sell decisions. So I still have to make up my mind here. But what I will say in the context of this video is that I'm super happy with the way my portfolio is set up going into the next year. And you might wonder, well, in what way are you happy or satisfied with the way your portfolio is set up? Well, I think there are a couple of factors. First of all, I don't think I have ever been as happy as I am right now in terms of the quality of the businesses in my portfolio, especially the larger positions in my portfolio. I think except for maybe one name where I think the business quality is a little weaker, but there the stock is trading at a relatively cheap price in my opinion. There are only very high quality businesses in the top half of my portfolio. Then I'm also happy with the number of stocks in my portfolio. As of today, there are 12 names in total, and I think that's a number of companies that I can quite easily track over any given year, making sure I cover the quarterly results of the businesses, I listen to the quarterly conference calls, and so on and so forth. So that is another aspect I'm happy with. I'm also happy with the geographical diversification I have basically incorporated here, and also I'm quite happy with the way the portfolio is set up from an industry diversification point of view. And then maybe lastly, also to reflect on 2023, I'm pretty happy with the portfolio activity in 2023. So there were relatively few sell transactions. So I've sold Netflix, which was a smaller position for me, at a share price of $323 a share. And as of today, Netflix is actually trading at a much higher price, $491 a share. So with the benefit of hindsight, selling Netflix was probably a mistake. And as you know, I'm a fan of reducing activity, and this kind of confirms this again. I was also selling Etsy at a slight loss this year, which taught me a lot. I'm pretty happy with that decision, to be fair, but the business has really developed unfavorably. I'm very unhappy with the way management is and was treating shareholders over the more recent time period, say the last 24 months or so. So I feel good about not having Etsy in my portfolio anymore. I was at times trimming Nintendo to free up capital for new investment ideas. Quite recently, I've also trimmed Alibaba because even though Alibaba is still attractively valued in my opinion, considering the geographical risk that comes with owning a Chinese equity, I think there were equally attractive opportunities in companies that are located in a geography where the rule of law as a principle is more accepted. And then finally, there was another kind of speculative bet, super small one, in Trivago. I've actually done a video on that company. I've actually basically pocketed was around a 55% dividend for me, considering my cost basis, and then sold the stock. But that was kind of a break-even trade. So I think the number of sell decisions here is quite low, and I'm happy with that. And then over the year 2023, I've been a net buyer of stock. I haven't added too many new stocks. I was adding to many already existing positions over time when they were trading at more attractive valuations. I've added two new positions. PayPal, which is kind of a smaller position for me, but I'm pretty happy with the entry price I got. And then another stock, which is a rather new one, is Interactive Brokers, which I might cover in future videos. And I've actually done a video on that stock in the past. So in terms of my goals for 2024 regarding my portfolio activity, I hope I can still stick to the Terry Smith formula of buying high quality companies, not overpaying for them, and then just doing nothing. And I think I've been quite successful with regard to this in 2023. For example, Meta comes here to mind, a stock that has been basically the biggest driver of my portfolio performance of 2023. I haven't trimmed that position at all on the way up of that stock, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I think even at today's valuation, Meta is trading at a relatively fair price, and the business has a lot of momentum. So let's see where the business is going from here next year. All right, next up, let's talk about social media. Obviously, you are watching this video on YouTube, and what I've come to realize is that I think in terms of social media, consistency is key. So if you want to publish content on a specific platform, so be it TikTok, so short form video, long form YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or now Threads as an alternative for a more text-based social media platform. I think if you want to be successful in terms of growing an audience and forming relationships with your followers, it's super critical to be consistent, to consistently put out content. And that is something that I have done on YouTube over the years. I think I've pretty much published a video once a week on average, which I'm actually very happy with because that's quite a commitment. And I like the consistency I've shown here over the last 3 years. However, I've been much less consistent when it comes to publishing content on Twitter, or as it's called now, X, and also when it comes to publishing short form content. So personally, my approach going into 2024 will be to focus on 2 main platforms. I want to continue to be a consistent poster of long form videos on YouTube, and then I also want to focus a little more on Twitter, which is another platform on which I was able to build some momentum. I've reached, I think, around 2,600 followers as of today, and yeah, Threads by Meta obviously is a similar platform, so I will probably keep posting on there as well, and let's see where it goes from here. And every once in a while I might post a short form video too, just because I enjoy it, but I don't want to put any pressure on myself to regularly put out short form videos as well. And then another topic I want to address here is what kind of content do I want to put out on YouTube? So if you want to think of it, I think there's the spectrum of maybe on the one end highly edited videos, and then on the other end videos with very little editing efforts put into them. Videos that are maybe a little more authentic, and I feel like the latter type of videos have become more popular more recently. I think I've said it before, I have stopped using a teleprompter for my videos. I'm trying to speak more freely to the camera, and I'm pretty happy with that because it's less time consuming. I don't have to write a script. Obviously, a lot of work still goes into researching the topics that I want to talk about. Sometimes I prepare a little presentation that is helping me structure what I'm going to talk about. But nonetheless, I try to keep it more real a little bit. And I think that's also a goal going into 2024 for me, to post more authentic, less scripted content. However, every once in a while, I will maybe also post more highly edited videos, because I feel like those videos might have a better chance of going viral, just because it keeps the viewers more engaged. But I really haven't made up my mind here, but I think I'm leaning more to the authentic content that is not as editing heavy, and that allows me maybe to also form more of a relationship with you guys. So I would love to hear what you think. What kind of content do you prefer? What kind of content do you want me to create in the coming year? I know I still owe you a question and answers video, because I was asking for questions in the community tabs. I still have that at the back of my mind, and I plan to do that eventually. So please bear with me here. All right, and let's talk about the last area that I wanted to cover in this video, my mentorship program. Obviously, this is also an important area in my life right now, and obviously I want to set some goals going into the next year as well. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at the moment. I was able to help a couple of people this year. I think they really value my work. I enjoy talking to the people in our Zoom meetings. I have realized that I have a lot to give. I can really help people to become better investors and to move forward on their wealth building journey. And I hope I can help even more people going into 2024. I will then obviously also try to improve the quality of what I have to offer, although I'm pretty sure that what I have to offer right now is already really, really good. I don't think there's any alternative out there on the market that is providing the same level of depth when it comes to really an investing framework that people can adopt if they put in the work. But nonetheless, I'm still adding content. I have added new videos to my website over the last couple of months, and I guess I will continue to do this in 2024. All right, and that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.